My name is Mike Reynolds, and I work as a real estate agent in suburban Seattle. Last spring, I dealt with a case that still keeps me up at night. I've been in this business for 12 years, but nothing could have prepared me for what happened with the Andersons' house. It started when I got a call from Sarah Anderson about selling their family home on Pine Creek Drive. Nice neighborhood, good schools, the kind of place where everyone knows each other. The Andersons were a typical family. Tom worked in tech, Sarah was a teacher, and they had 2 kids, Emma, 8, and Lucas, 5. The strange part was how desperate Sarah seemed to sell. They'd only bought the house 6 months ago, and I was actually the one who sold it to them. When I asked why they were moving so soon, Sarah just said, "We need to leave. As soon as possible." Her voice was shaking. I scheduled a visit for the next day. When I arrived, something felt off. The front yard, which Sarah used to keep immaculate, was overgrown. There were toys scattered everywhere, like the kids had been playing and never picked them up. The curtains were drawn on every window. Sarah answered the door, but she didn't look like the same person I remembered. She'd lost weight, had dark circles under her eyes, and her hands wouldn't stop trembling. Tom wasn't home. She said he was working late, but it was only 10 a.m. As we walked through the house, Sarah kept glancing over her shoulder. The house was freezing cold, even though it was May. When I mentioned this, Sarah just laughed, a hollow, empty sound that made my skin crawl. "The heating works fine," she said. It's always cold in Emma's room." Speaking of the kids, I noticed they weren't around. No sounds of playing, no TV cartoons, nothing. When I asked about them, Sarah's face just crumpled. "They're at their grandparents'," she said quickly. Too quickly. In Emma's room, crayon drawings covered one wall. They were disturbing. Dark figures with long arms standing over beds, faces in windows, shadows in corners. "Kids and their imaginations," I said, trying to lighten the mood. Sarah didn't respond. That's when I noticed the scratches, deep gouges in the hardwood floor leading to the closet. The closet door was shut with a chair wedged under the handle. "Oh, that's just the dog," Sarah whispered. They didn't have a dog. I cut the visit short. Something was seriously wrong, and I needed to think. But when I got back to my office and tried calling Sarah, the number was disconnected. I drove back to the house the next day. It was empty. No furniture, no cars, nothing. Just those drawings on Emma's wall and the scratches on the floor. I called the police. They did a welfare check but found nothing suspicious. The neighbors said the family had packed up and left in the middle of the night. No one had seen Tom for weeks before they disappeared. 3 months later, I received an envelope with no return address. Inside was a crayon drawing, similar to the ones in Emma's room. On the back, in shaky handwriting, "They're in the closet. They were always in the closet. I'm sorry." The house is still on the market. I've had other agents ask to show it, but I always find an excuse. Because sometimes when I drive past at night, I see crayon drawings appearing on the windows, new ones drawn from the inside, and in every drawing there's a family of 4 standing in a closet, and behind them, something else. Something with long arms and too many teeth. The police have found no trace of the Andersons. The case is still open, but going cold. I've thought about quitting real estate, but I keep working. Because I need to know. What if they try to buy another house? What if they're still out there running from whatever was in that closet? Or worse, what if they're not running anymore? Last week I received another envelope. This time it contained a real estate listing from a small town in Oregon. The photo showed a normal-looking house, but in one of the windows, I could make out a crayon drawing. It was the same style as Emma's, dark figures, long arms. But this time the drawing showed 5 figures in the closet instead of 4, and they all had those same long arms and too many teeth. I recognized the return address. It was from another real estate agent. The house had just been sold to a young couple with a baby on the way. I tried calling the agent, but just like with Sarah's number, the line was disconnected.